the BAFTA goes to Dead Space.
We're now joined by Jason Graves, who's just won a BAFTA for Best Original Score. The game, Dead Space. That was one of my favourite games of the past 12 months. I loved it.
Probably made you jump a little bit, I bet.
It did, and the music played a massive part in that. I think it's one of the most atmospheric games I've ever played.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, and I'm not just saying that because every time I went and visited and played the game, I was always blown away at how immediately it grabbed me, and sometimes I didn't even recognize my own music. It was just so well implemented.
It's not the only BAFTA that this game's won tonight. It also won Use of Audio.
Yes, it did.
So the sound on Dead Space is BAFTA-tastic.
I guess it is BAFTA.
Were you involved in that as well?
Well, I was obviously involved in the music portion of it. Truthfully, as amazed as I am about the music award, truthfully, I'm more proud of the audio award because there was only maybe 5 of us working on it for about. I was involved for 2 years. Everybody else was in there for about 3 years. And really working really hard to implement all the audio more in a reactive sort of way than something that gives away the boo. I think that's one reason that Dead Space was so scary. The music, it's not like you walk through a doorway, you trigger the music, and the music, and you're looking around for the bad guys. Oh, here they come. Oh, yeah, they're coming towards me now. They would jump out first, and it was the gameplay that determined not only the audio, but all the music as well. And the first couple of levels of music, we had 4 levels playing constantly. It was just a matter of the gameplay would determine how much of it was going to play. So there was music almost throughout the entire game, but sometimes it didn't even sound like music, which was, I think, part of that kind of creepy vibe that you get when you play, that you don't really know what's wrong yet in the hallway. You're just walking down a hallway, but it's weird and it makes you unsettled.
How do you go about scoring something like that when you've not got the finished product? Do you just wait till you've got a little bit of a level done, play it through, and then think about where you're going to come from?
Well, what we did specifically with Dead Space, and I think a lot of games do this now, we did basically a vertical slice. We did maybe a 10-minute piece of gameplay that was completely finished. So that was the music, that was the audio, that was all the action, everything. And that kind of gave us an idea of what we wanted the music itself to sound like. But it went through actually several iterations. At first there was some electronica in there, and it was more of a grungy kind of, get you pumped up kind of score. And it just wasn't working that well. And Don, the audio director, decided it needed to be more just scare the pants off you kind of score. So I had some movies to go by, but for the most part, I just kind of had make it as scary as you possibly can. And I've done probably 70 video games. This is the only one. First of all, we had 2 separate live recordings with orchestras. Second of all, I never had any music that I submitted before we went to the scoring stage. With films or video games, you have these demos that you submit to the director or the producer. That sounds good, make this a little of that, make this a little of this. It couldn't be done because the stuff we were recording was all these crazy sound effects and experimental techniques and stuff that the orchestra was doing. And I kept trying to get the audio director, well, how about if we do this? This will be great. I've got an idea for this. And he finally said, I've got a lot of other things to worry about besides music. I trust you. Stop calling me, and I'll see you at the scoring session, which put a lot of pressure on me. I mean, I was terrified the whole time that the score wouldn't work, it wouldn't come together. I'd never done anything like that before, and it's so wonderful to have that.
Now, the musical and the audio side of gaming is evolving so fast as games are becoming more cinematic, etc. Have you got any advice for anybody who'd like to get involved in that side of the industry?
For music, which is what I can really speak about, I would say you need to know your craft. I mean, one of the most exciting things about me when I take on a project is if it's something I've never done before. And Dead Space was a completely new experience. I mean, I got as many scores, both conductor scores and recorded orchestral scores of all these just completely out there kinds of music. And it was exciting for me because it was a challenge. It was something I could learn, something I could do a little new experiments with. But you can't do that unless you feel comfortable kind of in your own pants to do, go out on a limb and do what you think the game really deserves as opposed to what most people might expect the game to sound like. I think that's one reason that it's being noted for its audio and music, because it was so unexpected.